Educators, please welcome Mr. Jon Edwards.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm very happy to be here with you. And one thing that is a little unfortunate about this situation, besides the obvious things, is we have to have these kinds of training sessions over Zoom. So I can't come to your beautiful country and visit with you in person, but hopefully that will change in the near future. I have about 2 hours to train with you. I know that's a long time, and I would greatly value your patience and your attention for that 2 hours. I've put some activities in the presentation, so while we're presenting, I would ask you to participate actively, and if I ask a question, you can put your you can raise your hand. Miss Ocha will manage that, so I look forward to hearing your answers. So let me just share my screen and we'll begin. Okay, so I guess all of you are going to be teaching with Big Show. So the purpose of this presentation is to introduce you to the product and to give you some tips about how to use how to use Big Show, the Big Show series. Also, I'm going to talk about some little activities that you can add to your teaching. And we'll also talk about the digital materials, because I guess most of you will be teaching online. So the digital materials are very important to you. So I'll introduce you to those. So to start with, I thought we could do a little warmer. So this warmer is called 3 things. Sometimes I use it with classes as well. Basically, very simple questions. Just make 3 sentences about some topic. That's the idea of the warmer. So I need a volunteer, or 1 or 2 volunteers to participate. If you can use the raise hand feature, maybe Miss Ocha can nominate you. 3 things you know about bananas. So you can make a very simple sentence or you can make a complicated sentence. It's completely up to you. Do we have any brave participants?
Silakan Bapak Ibu. Oh, we have Miss Irma. Silakan Miss Irma, bisa di-unmute terlebih dahulu, Miss Irma. Please unmute yourself first. Okay, yes. Thank you.
Thank you for the time. When I see this picture, I will ask the student, do you know what fruit it is? After that, what color is it? And the other question, do you like this fruit? That's the question. That's a simple question I ask the students.
Can you make 3 sentences about things you know about bananas?
Okay.
For example, they're sweet. They are sweet.
Yes. How does it taste? Okay. Is it healthy for you? I just want to ask them, because I teach grade 1, so I give a simple and easy question about the color, about what do you like, and then about I let them know, is it healthy or not for them.
So let's pretend you're the student and I'm the teacher.
Yes.
So can you make 3 sentences about bananas?
Okay. 3 sentences about banana. What is it?
Okay. Well, how about like it is yellow.
Okay. What color is it? What color is the banana? Okay. Do you like? I just always ask them. Do you like banana?
Okay. So maybe you could say something like, they are yellow. They are sweet.
Yes.
I like them.
Yes. You like them, and this is healthy for you. I just let them know that.
And they're healthy.
Fruit. Yes.
Okay. Very good. Thank you very much, Ms. Irma.
You're welcome.
Okay. Somebody else, a different participant.
Yes, we have here Miss Monica.
Can you
Miss
make
Monica.
3 sentences about the moon, things that you know about the moon?
Okay, Miss Monica.
Okay, hello, sir.
Hi.
Okay, 3 things that I know about moon. The first one, the first one is, I see moon at night
Okay.
when it is dark. Number 2, I love moon because it is beautiful. And then the third is, I wish I can go to the moon.
Okay, great. Perfect.
All right,
Perfect.
thank you,
very
sir.
much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Anybody else want to talk about 3 things you know about the moon?
Yes, we have Mr. John. Another John.
Another
Mr.
John.
John Tombeng. Hello, Mr. John. Would you please turn on the video too and also unmute yourself?
Okay, just a minute. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Do you have my picture there?
Yeah.
Okay. 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 I'm three sentences, right?
Yes, please.
Okay. The moon appears in the night. Is that okay?
Perfect. Perfect.
Okay.
There's no wrong answer.
Okay. Okay. Number 2. Okay. The moon is far away from the earth.
Great. Okay, one more.
Okay. You can see a full moon just once a month.
Okay, perfect. Fantastic sentences. Okay, last one. Let's get 2 more volunteers. Thank you very much, Mr. John.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay.
Very well. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
2 more volunteers.
3 things you know about camels.
Okay, we have Miss Ellie Kurnia. Hello, Miss Ellie Kurnia.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hi, Miss Ellie.
Hello, how are you? Okay, 3 things I know about camels. It lives in the desert.
Okay.
Camels can save their food in the hunk. Hunk, right? And then camels are able to walk in or to stay in the storm. I mean sandstorm.
Sandstorm.
Yes.
Yeah, they have very long eyelashes, right, to protect their eyes.
Yes.
Yes,
that's right. That's correct.
Perfect. Perfect. Wonderful sentences. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, any other volunteer?
Yes, we have here Miss Daisy. Hello, Miss Daisy. Would you please turn on the video too? And also unmute yourself.
All right. Oh, hi, John. Hi, everyone.
Hi,
Miss Daisy. I'm sorry, the video hasn't been turned on.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you.
Don't be shy.
Yeah. Is the 3 things? Okay. No, it was just like the 3 things that that I know about this camel. And the thing is, they go through the desert and very tough. And they can go by days, like maybe 3 days or more, I don't know. But they have humps, one thing I know for sure. And it's one of the transportation through the desert. Those are the 3 things I know about this camel.
Perfect. And I would just add, they smell very bad also.
Yeah.
They smell bad.
Yeah. Maybe they never took a bath or something. Okay.
Thank you very much, Miss Daisy.
Thank you.
So this is just a little activity that you can use to start your class. If you want to choose some items that are related to the theme, then this is kind of a nice way that you can kind of lead into the theme as well. It's a very easy activity. Okay, just a little bit about our agenda today. I'm going to give you an orientation to Big Show, talk about all of the features of Big Show, and give you a unit walkthrough. And then we'll talk about the teaching resources, all of the things that you can use, like the tests and the flashcards and all of those things that you can download and use. And then I'll give you some, I'll show you a demo of the digital materials. And then we'll talk about the teaching resources. And then I'll talk about some tips for teaching, and then we'll have the Q&A at the end. And throughout the presentation, I have some activities to kind of keep you awake. Okay, so Big Show is an easy to teach ELT course for elementary students. So it's aimed at elementary students. And it's got 6 levels for primary level. So 6 levels altogether. And they range from pre-A1, if you guys are familiar with the CEFR leveling. So they range from pre-A1 in book 1 all the way up to about high A2 level for book 6. So there's a nice progression. And if you're more familiar with the Cambridge leveling system, books 1 and 2 are about the starters level. Books 3 and 4 are about the movers level. And then books 5 and 6 are about the flyers level, just approximately. Just a little bit about the features. So the kind of the focus of the book is on structure and vocabulary. So we wanted to give students a very good foundation for their learning. So we want to introduce all the important grammatical structures and some kind of core vocabulary. But we wanted to do that within relevant contexts. So that means things that are important or that are familiar to students. Also, we included a lot of integrated IT content like animation, animated songs. So the songs are not only audio, they also have video that go along with them. And also there are some readers that they can use that are related to the content of each unit. We have a clear focus on building CEFR competencies in each lesson. So that's the Council of Europe framework of reference. So that's just the kind of descriptors for each level. There's descriptors for each level of the CEFR, and we have taken those descriptors and we've tried to build activities and content that will increase students' ability to do those different things. We also have thematically linked Clil readings in every unit. So Clil here just means, if you're not familiar with that term, it just means school subject content that is in English. So it's content, language, integrated learning. So each unit has a reading at the end of it that's related to the same theme, but it's also related to a school subject. And we also cover all 4 skills. So we've tried to balance speaking and listening and reading and writing throughout the whole series. Just in terms of the components, we have the student book, full color workbook. We've got a very detailed teacher's guide that's available. That's available for download, so you can use that to plan your classes, or if you're just starting with Big Show, that can really help you to teach the material effectively. Then we've got a whole range of downloadable supplementary materials. I'm going to talk about those more in detail. And then we also have some digital components called Classbox and Big Box, and I'm going to go through those near the end of the presentation. Each book is divided into 12 units. There's an intro unit, then there's the 12 main units, and then every 4 units, there's a review. So you can kind of use this to plan out how you divide your time. So just in general, we suggested that each unit can be divided into 4 or 5 classes, but depending on how many teaching hours you have, you can change that as well. In the back of the book, there's the appendix where there's the song lyrics, all the lyrics for the songs. So when the students are learning the songs at first, you can get them to flip to the back. There's also the complete word list, which is very useful for students to do review and for you to do pop quizzes also. I'll just walk through one unit to show you sort of how the unit sort of flows. We can think of the unit as being divided into three main parts. So the first part is one set of vocabulary and one structure. Then the second part is going to be supplemental vocabulary, like additional vocabulary on the same theme, and a related structure. So a second structure that's related to the first one that they've learned. And then the third part will be the reading part. So those are basically divided into the three spreads. So the 6 pages of the unit are divided like that. First vocabulary set, first structure, then second vocabulary set, second structure, and then the reading. So this is the first spread. So you can see at the beginning, they learn the vocabulary. And actually one thing we have in this book that's very handy is you can just use your phone to scan these QR codes at the beginning of each unit. And then you can have all the audio for the unit just directly on your phone. So it'll be all the track numbers listed on your phone, and you can just select the one that's appropriate to each activity that you're doing. So students start by learning the vocabulary, and there's kind of a simple activity that you can do with them where you get them to listen, and the audio is played out of sequence, right? So they hear like watch TV first, and then they hear go skating, and then go see movies. So it's out of order, and they have to number it. This is just an easy way for them to be a little bit engaged while they're learning the vocabulary. So that you can do that to introduce the vocabulary, to expose the vocabulary, but then you can do additional activities such as flashcards or guessing games, these kinds of things, to get them to do more practice as well. Then the pattern practice introduces the key structure. So we do some substitution drills, and then we also have a song where they're practicing the structure more. And again, there's that QR code where you can scan the QR code and you can play. There's also a video. I mentioned that there's the song videos in this product. So those song videos can be a more interesting way to play the songs for the kids. And they have the subtitles along the bottom as well. Then on the top of the second page, there's the listening activity. So the listening activity contextualizes the structure that they've learned. So they learn the structure just in kind of a dialogue pair, like usually a question and an answer. And then we put that in the context of a short dialogue so that they can see it in context. We start that with a listening activity. So they listen and they just fill in the blanks. And then they contextualize that within the larger dialogue. So first they listen, write down the words, and then they write the numbers to kind of make sense of the dialogue. I mentioned that there were some song videos. These are animated videos for all of the songs in the book, and they're available by scanning the QR code that's in the book. On the second 2-page spread of the unit, we have the second kind of big part. So the second part introduces another set of vocabulary and another structure. So in this case, they're learning more hobbies. So things like make jewelry, talk on the phone, play the trumpet, play computer games. And again, there's a very simple activity. In this case, they're just listening and circling what they hear. And then there's a speaking activity where they're doing substitution practice, drill practice. And then there's a writing activity where we're getting them to actually spell out the vocabulary within the context. So that's very supported by scaffolding as well. Sorry, I need to catch up here a little bit. So there's picture-based writing activities with lots of scaffolding. So the scaffolding comes in the form of the sentence starter and the multiple choice questions. And there's also the support from the pictures as well. Then in the first levels of the book, the lower levels of the book, there's phonics building. So we didn't cover all of the phonics. We just focused on kind of difficult sounds and sounds that are related to the vocabulary that they've learned. So in this case, they have bike, like, and line, shine, sunshine. Then there's the third part. So I mentioned that there's 3 parts of the unit. So they've gone through first structure, first set of vocabulary, second structure, second set of vocabulary. Now they're going to see it in the context of a reading. So they're going to see some of that vocabulary and some of that the same structures that they've learned in a reading. So this reading is all about different kinds of hobbies. So this is a theme-linked reading that contextualizes the vocabulary and the structure. Then there's reading comprehension, and there's also personalization questions. So that just means a little question that gets them to use the vocabulary and the structures to talk about their own life, their own experience. And the last part of the unit is a little QR code that they can scan. They can scan with a device. It could be a tablet or their phone, and they can see a playbook. So a playbook is just a book that's shown in the form of a video. So the pages advance, and they hear audio, and they see the words on the screen, but they can just watch it and read along. So this is a playbook that's related to the same theme that they've been studying. So in this case, in the case of this unit, they can scan that QR code and they can see the playbook that's all about a family that goes to a hockey game. So they've learned about different kinds of sports, and this is also sports related. We also have, as I mentioned, we have a full color workbook. So some teachers choose to use that in class to kind of get the students to do a little bit of practice on their own in class with support. Other teachers assign that for homework. So it's up to you. It's about how you use your class time. Excuse me one moment. So again, that focuses on, those activities focus on the vocabulary and also the structure to consolidate the learning and develop spelling skills. There's also activities that build on that dialogue that they saw in the unit. So that kind of contextualization of the dialogue pair. Then there's separate activities that deal with the second set of vocabulary and the second structure. And then there's phonics and also a separate reading. So the reading is different in the workbook and the student book. There's a different kind of reading, but they're seeing it also, it's a contextualization as well. Just in terms of the supplementary materials, we have lots of things available for teachers. We know that teachers are very busy and they don't have time to prepare worksheets and tests and things like that. So we have lots of things available. Those are available from 2 different places. One is from our website, which is compasspub.com. If you create a teacher's account and log in, and then you search in the search bar at the top of the page for Big Show and the number of the book that you're teaching. So for example, Big Show 3, Big Show 4, then it's going to come up with a page like this with information about the book. And at the bottom, you can see all the blue icons. So you can just click on those icons to download all of the different material that's available, all the supplementary material that's available for that particular book. I said there's another place to get it. I'm going to show you that a little bit later. That's the our learning platform called Classbox. So there's, as I mentioned, there's lots of things available for teachers. Those are available for your planning. So things like word lists, transcripts of all the audio. So if you want to use those for making a dictation, for example, they're all available in both PDF form and Word form. So you can download them and tailor them or customize them however you want. There's a full answer key for both the student book and the workbook. There's a sample lesson plan, and we've made different kinds of lesson plans for different kinds of classes. And there's a syllabus for a 12-week syllabus and 24-week syllabus, depending on your how your term works. We also have a material for your presentation of the material. So the teacher's guide, which is very, very detailed. It has teaching notes for each activity, the teacher talk, the sample answers, answer key, the transcripts. So everything is built into that teacher's guide, and it's very well organized. We also have classroom PowerPoint presentations. So if you want to use those in your class, so you could use those, for example, by sharing the screen, just like I'm doing now, and you could have additional materials that you can use besides their physical book. We also have a full set of flashcards for all the levels, every unit of every level, and all of the MP3 audio is downloadable from our website. We also have worksheets, so if you want to supplement the book with additional materials, we have worksheets that are available for vocabulary. Some of those are, the ones that I've seen are unscrambling activities. So they have all the letters and they have to unscramble the vocabulary. We also have worksheets that focuses on the structure as well. We've also provided teachers with a full assessment kit, so placement tests for deciding where the students should be placed in the lower levels or the higher levels. We have word tests, vocabulary tests, like quizzes. We have unit tests, so after you finish, five lessons on a unit, you can give them a test to see how much they've retained. We also have review tests, which cover 4 units. And we have midterm tests, so that covers 6 units. And midterm test is the first 1 to 6, and final test is 7 to 12. So the final test is not cumulative. So I'll talk a little bit about the digital materials. So we have basically 2 different materials. Some of them are for teachers. That's Classbox. And Classbox is an English teaching platform with a library of interactive ebooks and an easy-to-use learning management system. And it's integrated with Big Box, which is the student's application. So you would use Classbox for presenting your material. If you're doing teaching, whether it's in class or online, you can use Classbox to present the material. And then for your students, they have a Big Box application. So the application is what they would use to study on their own. So it's a English learning application with a library of videos and ebooks to enjoy, and a fun gamified way to do homework assignments and send reports to their teacher through Classbox. So those 2 products are integrated, they are connected. So one interesting thing is you can create classes and assign homework on Classbox. That homework is sent to the students in Big Box, in their Big Box learning application. They do their homework, and then they just, as soon as they click done, the report is sent to Classbox. So you can see the results, whether they've done their homework, and you can see the results as well. So as I mentioned, Classbox is the digital solution for teachers. It's an easy-to-use teaching platform for ELT. and it's for classroom use and also for remote teaching. And it has two main functions. One is the library of digital books, and the other one is the LMS. So let's have a very quick look at that. So this is the interface that you're going to see. So if you go to the library of books, you're going to see this kind of interface. And as you can see on the left-hand side of the screen, there's some buttons like Home, Downloads, Listen to MP3, and Book Info. If you click on Downloads, that's going to show you all of the downloadable material. And Listen to MP3, that's going to show you all of the audio files that are available for this book. Along the top of the screen, there are tools for searching the book, jumping to a specific unit. So for navigation, there's also tools for markup, leaving notes, inserting links, and some other tools. And I'm going to show you all of those in detail in a moment when I do a demonstration. As I mentioned, if you click on the left-hand side of the screen under Downloads, you can see all of those additional supplementary materials that I was talking about. So there's the word lists, the transcripts, the audio, the tests, all of that stuff is available from one centralized resource. There's also the LMS. So the LMS is where you would set up your classes, add all of your students, and you can manage classes. So you can move students around between classes, and you can create and close classes. You can also assign homework there, and you can view reports about how your students have done on their homework. It's integrated with the Big Box Learning app. So all you do is you share a class code. I'm going to show you how to do that. And then once your students have that class code, the students can link their Big Box app with your Classbox LMS. So they, once that's done, once you've set up that link between the two applications, the teacher can assign homework to students, and then it's going to appear in their application. Once they do their homework on the app, it's going to be sent to the LMS, and you can track their participation and their performance to see how they're doing on their homework. So this is the screen where you would assign homework. And as soon as you click Save at the bottom, that's going to be sent to the Big Box application. And it's going to appear in the application as a little notification like this. So it gives them a little kind of quest that they have to do in the app. After they've done their homework, you're going to see their report show up here in the LMS. So you can see each activity shows you how long they spent doing it, and their score also. Some of them have a score, like for example the quiz. The quiz activity has a score, so you can see who did well and who didn't do well. So that can show you how well your students are doing on their homework. The Classbox app, we intended it to be used with any video conferencing platform. So as long as you can do screen sharing, so you can use it with Zoom, with Google Meet, with Skype, these kinds of video conferencing platforms, and you can use it to teach with. So using that digital book, it has all the audio embedded, all the answer keys embedded. I'm going to show you that in a minute. Also, when we are back in class, hopefully in a few months' time, you can also use the same platform for presenting in your classroom. As long as you have an internet connection, a PC, and a projector or an interactive whiteboard, you can use it to present the material in class. If you want to see the learning management system, you can scan this QR code with your phone, and it's going to take your phone directly to that site. Or you can just enter classboxenglish.com, in your browser, and you can see what Classbox is all about. I think it's a great application for teaching. It's very simple to use, very easy to use, but it has all the features that you need to do remote teaching. So we talked about Classbox. That's the teacher's side. That's for presenting the material and to create classes and things like that. This is the big box, which is the student side. It's a learning application, English learning application for students. And it includes content personalized to suit their interests and ability. And it kind of gamifies language learning. So part of Big Box is a library of content that they can use for extensive listening and extensive reading. So that's things like videos from different sources and playbooks on all kinds of topics. But the relevant thing for today is one part of Big Box, which is called Class Booster. Class Booster is a set of e-learning activities for our course books and skill books. And it's linked with Classbox for assignment and reporting. So you can send homework assignments through Classbox to Class Booster, which is inside a Big Box. And how would you use that? Well, you could use that in different ways. One is by using it for flipped learning. That means your students could preview the material before class, and then they come to class and they're already prepared for doing the more sort of communicative activities or asking questions, this kind of thing. Or you could use it for review by giving them the assignments for homework. As I mentioned, the learners receive a quest notification in their app, and after they do their homework, they get coins that they can use in the game. So they can create like an avatar, like a character in the game, and they use the coins that they earn from doing their homework to decorate they can change their hairstyle, they can change the glasses or the clothes, this kind of thing. So it's very fun for kids. As I mentioned, in Class Booster, there's a whole bunch of different activities that are related to the content from the book. So when you assign homework, they would go through these different activities for each unit. So there's a word flash. That's basically like flashcards that have the text on one side and it plays audio. And then they click on the flashcard and it turns over and it shows them a picture. So it shows them the picture so they can understand the meaning. After they've done the flashcards, they do a little matching activity called word match. So the goal there is to do it as quickly as possible, and the faster they do it, the more coins they get for their game. Then there's a quiz. So the quiz focuses on the vocabulary and also the structure that they've learned in the unit. So there's usually 4 or 5 different questions. Then there's an unscramble activity. Unscramble activity gets them to click and drag the words to make a complete sentence. So again, this is focusing on the structure. One thing I should mention also is some of the activities you can see have a little microphone icon. That means that the activity is voice enabled. So the students can actually use their voice to activate the app. So with the word flash activity, they can click that microphone and they can say the word, and the app is going to say whether they pronounced it correctly or not. It's going to advance based on whether they said it correctly or not. The unscramble activity is going to trigger, that's another way that they can trigger their answers. So one way is by clicking the words, but they can also use their voice to trigger the answers. So that's a way for them to get more speaking practice. The fifth activity is the summary activity. So the summary is based on the reading, and it gets them to click on the vocabulary items to put them into the context of the reading. And the last activity is the song. So they can preview the song for the unit in their homework. as part of their homework. So as I mentioned, after each of the activities, they're going to get some points, and the points are going to be also coins that they can use in the application. And as soon as they click on complete, that score is sent to the LMS in Classbox. So I'll just show you a little video, very quick video of what Big Box is like. So this is this is the student side. This is what your students are going to use on their phone or on tablet. They can also use a PC version. So I'll just play the video and then I'll talk about it a little bit.
Go camping. Go see movies. Go skating. Listen to music. Play tennis. Watch TV.
I guess the audio is not synchronized with the video for some reason, but anyway, I hope you get the idea.
Make jewelry. Play computer game. Play the trumpet. Talk on the phone. Go see movies. Play the trumpet. Listen to music. Make jewelry. Play tennis. Go camping. Play computer games. Go skating. Talk on.
So this is the first part that we saw was the flashcards. I'm sorry the audio is not synchronized, but this is the second activity, which is the word match. So they have a little timer at the bottom, and they have to try to do it as fast as they can. So this is just another way for them to see the vocabulary and to get more practice with it.
On the phone. Watch TV.
This is the third activity, that's the Unscramble activity. So they can say the words like I like to go camping, or they can click on them in order. So this is the song video. So the song video is the same one from the first page, the bottom of the first page of the book, so they can preview it in their the application before they come to class. So that just gives you a little idea about the application and the kind of homework that the students would be assigned from you if you were using Big Box. So I think it's a lot more interesting way for students to do their homework than just doing it only in the workbook. So if you wanted to see the application, you can actually scan the QR code that you see on the screen, and that's going to take you directly to either the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store. Alternatively, if you want to look at it later, you can just search for Big Box in the application store, either Google Play or the Apple App Store. I'm just going to take a moment to show you the Classbox. I have to set it up. Just let me reshare my screen. Hold on.
Okay, so Mr. Jon, while we are waiting for you to share the screen, maybe we can give a chance to our participants if they have any questions so far.
Sure, certainly.
Is that okay?
Yes.
Ya, silakan Bapak Ibu apabila ada pertanyaan sejauh ini dari pemaparan Mr. Jon. Okay, Mr. Jon, we have one participant here. It's Miss Daisy. So I will invite Miss Daisy to talk together with us.
Okay.
Hi, Miss Daisy.
Hi again, Jon.
Hi.
No, so I had this question. The word flash, is it all about the verbs only, or can we use like sort of like showing the transportation, for example, or kitchen stuffs or living room?
It all depends on the unit of Big Show that it's related to. So whatever you're learning in the unit, it'll have those vocabularies. So sometimes it'll be nouns, sometimes it'll be verbs, sometimes it'll be phrases. It just depends what's in the unit. So each unit in Big Show has a corresponding unit in Big Box.
I see. Oh, so it's just like what I saw. It's just like the demo or something, just to show us, right?
Yeah, that's just an example, right?
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
You're very welcome.
That really helps. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
And thank you, Miss Daisy. And Mr. Jon, we also have one more question from Miss Nova. So the application can only be used if the book is Big Show, right? So could you please answer that?
No, you can also use the students can use Big Show just on its own. They can download it and use it on its own without without being in your class even. So they can download it on their own, and it pairs up with all of our books, all Compass books.
Okay, thank you. And one more, Mr. Jon, from another Mr. Jon, Mr. Jon Tombeng.
Hi, John.
So, Mr. Jon, please unmute yourself first, and also please turn on the video.
Okay. Just a minute.
Okay.
Okay. Can I be seen by you? Okay.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Hello.
You have a very lovely letter J. That's all I see.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
No. Okay. Now you can see me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Edwards, I'd like to ask you a question about the Big Show book. Okay, in one unit, there are 6 or 5 lessons, right? If I'm not mistaken.
In one unit, yeah, we recommend 5 lessons.
So 5 lessons means 5 meetings.
Right. You don't have to use it that way. For example, if your students are very strong, you could teach it in 3 or 4 lessons, or even 2 lessons if they're very strong students. So it's just about, the number of class hours that you have to fill with the book.
Yeah, so I have to make some kind of adjustment because 6 meetings is quite a lot. But it's knowing that this is and we are having a pandemic here. So yeah, so maybe we just put this. It can be reduced to.
I've taught it before with just 2 classes as well.
Oh, I see.
It's a little accelerated. It's a little bit fast, and I would recommend that only for strong students, students who are really, you know, a little bit advanced, but it is possible.
Okay, okay. So actually, since we teach through what is internet, so we here in our school we make some kind of sometimes we use Zoom or Google Meet, and sometimes we just make a video, but it contains it contains from the big show. So and it's for about 15 or 20 minutes, and then we send to the students, and they can learn from it. So it's quite packed a lot, and then because here we only have one meeting a week.
Wow.
Yeah, because of the pandemic. Actually, we still go to school, but still, students do not come to school.
I'm going to talk about this a little bit at the end of the session, but
okay.
It's okay. I can kind of preview my idea. So
have you got the pictures of my question?
Basically, I will answer your question at the end of the presentation, but to preview it, you know, having a real-time interaction with your students is only one way of having a class. You can also have like content-focused class, like you were talking about, right? Send them a video to watch, and then maybe they do some activity related to the video. That's a different kind of class. And then you can also give them some task-focused class to do as well.
Okay.
So you can
actually,
have those different kinds.
I can, after sending the video and the next meeting or the next week, and then I teach them through the Zoom, and then I ask them.
Right.
A week later. So because that's the time I have from school. So I have to, what is this kind of review through Zoom. Is that okay?
Well, it's not ideal, but yeah. None of us are dealing with an ideal situation these days, unfortunately.
Yes, okay, unfortunately. So maybe at the end of the meetings you can.
Yeah, or we can talk about it again after you see my presentation.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Edwards.
You're very welcome.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Jon Edwards, yes, you may continue your sharing.
So I'm going to show you a demonstration of Classbox, which is the side that you would use as a teacher. Can everybody see my screen okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So when you log in, you're going to see this screen, and you just down at the bottom there's these different buttons, and you would go to the two main ones that you would be working with are the digital books and LMS. So if you go to digital books, that's going to show you the library of the books that are available to you. I have a special account where I can see all of the books that are in our library. So there's lots and lots of books. But what you'll see here depends on what your school has purchased for you. So one way you can find your book in several different ways. This is one way. You can just search for it. So Big Show student book. So once you open one of the books, you're going to see this kind of interface. And as I mentioned, there's buttons down the left side. So if you want to use any of those supplemental materials like tests, worksheets, anything like that, those are all available here. If you click on downloads on the left-hand side of the screen, those are all available here. So you can just download them, send them to your students, or they're available, as I mentioned, as PDFs or Word files. There's also the teacher's guide available here as well. So all the things are available here for download. once you're teaching with if you're going to use this in your online teaching, you'll notice that actually all of the audio is integrated into the screen, into the page, so you can actually play the audio.
Unit 1. Where are you from?
Listen and number. Number 1.
France. France.
Number 2.
China.
So the other thing is you'll see these little lock icons next to some of the text. That's the answer key. So you can get the students to answer the question, maybe in their books or on paper, and then you can reveal the answers. You can ask them after you ask them the question. So there's the audio, and the answer key is integrated directly into the app. The other thing is the QR codes that are in the book. If you click on them, you can launch the video. I don't know if you can see that, but so you can launch the videos by clicking the QR codes. Another thing I wanted to show you was you can use this icon here with the 3 little lines for jumping around within the book. So if you are teaching a particular unit, like Unit 8, for example, I can navigate using this icon. You can also search for specific words within the document using the magnifying glass. A nice feature is also this note function. So what you can do here is actually write some teacher's notes. Maybe something that you want to remember to teach them, or some grammar point that you want to copy and paste into the book. So once you have that note there, you can move it to the place where you want, and that'll stay there. That's associated with your account, and every time you log into the system, that'll be there. So every time you teach this unit, those notes will be there for you to see. You can do the same kind of thing with links using this link icon. So if there's a YouTube video or some website that I want to use that's related to this topic, I can enter the URL here. Whoops, I jumped to another unit. Sorry about that. Anyway, you can use that links, and then once you enter the link, you can just click on the icon again, and it's going to send you to that website or the video. You can use the pen tool as well. So if there's particular text that you want the students to focus on, you can highlight or mark up the screen. And then when you're all done, you can erase all. You can also zoom in. So for example, if you are focusing on a particular activity, you can zoom into that activity like this. So you can get them to focus on just a particular part of the page. So that's a little bit about the app. The other part that you're going to want to use is the LMS. So you can get there by, on that opening page, you can either click LMS from there, or you can click it up here. And this is where you're going to see all of your classes. And if you're teaching with other teachers, you can add them here. Just click on the plus button, enter their name and login ID and their password, and then click save. And they're going to be listed here. So when you create a class, you can assign a particular teacher to that class. You can also add add classes. So you just go to class and click on the plus button and create your class by giving it a name, and then you can select one of those teachers. So for example, I can say John's Fantastic English class. And then it's going to be taught by Francois, and then I can click save, and that class is created, and that's going to be that's going to show up in my registration right here. John's Fantastic English class taught by Francois. And then once I've done that, I can populate it with students by clicking on plus, and then I can enter the student's name and either their email address, which is the same email that they use for Big Box. So you can get the students to share that with you. And once, here, just let me try. So once you enter your students, you can enter them here manually, or you can share the class code. I'll show you how to do that. Once your students have installed Big Box on one of their devices, what you can do is you can share the class code. So the class code is going to appear here. So I just created this class called John's Fantastic English class. If I click on that, you're going to see this little class code here, this 6-digit alphanumeric code. That's what you would share. So there's two ways to link up the Big Box and Classbox. One way is by manually entering your students with their Big Box, the same email address that they use for registering Big Box. The other way is by sharing this class code with them, maybe writing it on the board or printing it out on some paper for them. So once they've been linked, once Big Box and Classbox have been linked, you can actually assign homework. So I'll just show you how to do that with one of my other classes. So this class, my class, let's say that I want to assign homework to this class. So I would click on plus homework. My class is selected, and I would choose the date. So this is the start date and how many days I want to give them to do their homework. Maybe I say 10 days. I would choose the book. So in this case, it's a class booster type activity for Big Show 3 or 4. So I can give them, select the particular unit that we're doing. Like let's say we're doing unit 7, and then I click done. And I can also give that homework a specific name. So Big Show Unit 7. Then once I save it, I can reuse that homework again in the future. Once I save it and click OK, that is going to be automatically sent to all my students in their Big Box application. After they have done their homework, we can go to the homework section. So I just gave them some homework, but let's see who did their homework. So this is the homework that I just assigned. I don't think anybody will have done their homework by now, but we can see a report of who did their homework. Unfortunately, nobody has done their homework in my class, so I can't show you that right now. Anyways, I showed you that in my presentation, so you can get the idea of what it would look like. Okay, so that's a little walk around the digital books and the LMS. Those are the main things that you're going to be using to assign homework through these two tools. So I will continue my presentation. Just let me share my screen again. Everybody can see my presentation okay?
Yeah. Yes, Mr. Jon.
Okay. So I just wanted to give you some teaching tips, and I have a few more activities to show you. So let's start by talking about the characteristics of young learners. So we can basically divide, I know of course every learner is different, but we can talk in general terms about lower elementary and upper elementary students. And I think they are quite different if we think about it. So the lower elementary grades have a very limited awareness about themselves and about learning. They're still learning about school and how school works and how they're supposed to behave in school. They also have a very limited knowledge about the world. So that's why, you know, for younger students, everything is interesting. We can give them information about very basic, what we think are basic things, but for them it's very interesting because it's new. Also, they enjoy make-believe and fantasy and using their imagination, and they're not embarrassed to sing and move around and dance. These kinds of things are fun for them because they have so much energy that they have to burn off. But the upper grades are more established in school, and they're comfortable with routines. They like kind of the very routine aspect of school. And they have a growing awareness of themselves and of other people. And also there's some kind of shyness or anxiety that's related to doing things in front of other people. So that's something that we need to be aware of as teachers. There's different ways that we can get them to participate, but in a way that's not going to embarrass them. For example, in Zoom, there's this function of breakout rooms where you can create rooms with smaller groups. That's very good for upper grades because they can talk more freely in front of a smaller group instead of in front of the whole class. Also, upper grades have a growing awareness of the world around them, so they know more, and they're also interested in more like real life issues and things that are happening in the world around them. So they're more conscious of the world, and they're starting to form their opinions of things around them. So I think these differences between different kinds of students mean that we have to take different approaches as teachers. We have to approach the kind of activities that we make and the kind of the ways in which we interact with these different groups of students. So lower grades, we can have more sort of fun and engage them with fun and imagination and make-believe. But older students want to deal with more sort of real things and the real world and things that are happening in the news.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Mr. Jon. Maybe before we come any further to the teaching tips, there are actually some questions on the chat box regarding the Classbox and Bigbox, Mr. Jon.
Sure.
Yeah. And maybe if our participants would like to ask more about Classbox and Bigbox, you can also use the raise hand feature ya, Bapak Ibu, silahkan. Here we have a question from Miss Adia, how to create a new account at Classbox.
The first time that you log in, you'll have an account creation. So it'll say log in or create account. So you just click on create account and you enter your email and password and things at that stage. I didn't show you that because I'm already registered, but that's how you would do it. Just at the first time you log in. It's a little orange button in the top right-hand corner of the screen.
Okay. And then also, there is also a question from Mr. Antonius Setiawan. How many meetings in the ideal time of duration in each unit? What do you think about that? Using Zoom especially, because we are doing the distance learning right now. So
Right.
what do you think the ideal duration for each unit?
We sort of we divided the unit into 5 classes when we planned the book. As I said before, it doesn't have to be taught that way. If your students are strong and they can handle more information in one session, you could divide it into even 2 or 3 classes. I mentioned before that there's sort of 3 big parts of the unit. So there's the first set of vocabulary and the first structure, second set of vocabulary, second structure, and then the reading. You could basically divide those into 1 class each. That's one way you could teach it, but I would only recommend that if you have strong students.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and we also have from Miss or Mr. Anti Rohmatul. How if the students are not permitted to bring gadget to school because the application needs the gadget, right, Mr. John? So
Yes.
what about that? What do you think about it?
Then it's not going to be possible to use Big Box.
I see.
They can use it at home. They don't have to use it at school, right? Like they could install Big Box, and that can be the way that they do their homework at home.
Yeah, that's great. And also, Bapak Ibu, dear participants, if you would like to ask another question, you can also use the raise hand feature. And we have Miss Ellie Kurnia. Hello, Miss Ellie Kurnia. Please unmute yourself first, Miss. Yeah, okay.
Okay, Kenny. Okay, it's really fantastic. I mean, it's really a new for me for learning this kind of materials, because we always use books, but this is
right.
It's really interesting about the sources, because you not only books but also digital media. So I'd like to know, when you introduced us the application, I opened it by the App Store, and you said that it can be used separately, not only with books, but also only for using the application. So I just want to confirm,
Yes.
have confirmation that even though we don't use the books, the big box or the big show, but also we can use separately for as the additional.
So the way that you would do that,
Mm-hmm.
the way that you would do that is, I said Big Box has kind of several different parts.
Mm-hmm.
One part is a library of videos, like for extensive listening, and also some what we call playbooks. So it has this kind of library of resources, and students can use that, and there's associated with each video and each playbook, there's some word cards that they get. So after they watch the video, they're going to see some word cards that are going to pop up, and that's they can use those to learn vocabulary. And then there's also some activities related to those word cards, like some games, like a quiz and things like that. So that part of the app they can use without
separately.
Books. Right.
Yeah. Okay, one more. I also teach in English course. I mean, I think we like to use this kind of media resources for teaching our students in any level. So you offer this not only by the authentic with the books, but also with digital books. So is there any information how, if I recommend this one to my principal, so how can we get? I mean, will it be followed up by the Mentari, or how should we get this digital media?
You are exactly right. It will be followed up by Mentari.
Okay. Okay. Yes. Thank you very much for the information. Thank you for the sharing. This is really nice.
You're very welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Miss Ellie. And after this event, our team will contact you later, yeah, Miss Ellie. Yeah. Thank you very much. And Mr. John, maybe we can continue to the teaching tips, because this is what our participants really want to know about the teaching tips. Thank you, Mr. John.
You're welcome. So the point I was making before is that we have these different kinds of students, and maybe we need to have different approaches for those different kinds of students. But the basic thing that is common to all students is they all need creative and enjoyable learning environments. So I wanted to talk about how we can use Big Show and these digital materials and supplement it with some additional activities that can make learning a little bit fun and introduce some more variety into your teaching. So the important thing is that we need to have a lowered affective filter. So that sounds very fancy and complicated, but actually the concept is very simple. When students are stressed, when they feel kind of intimidated in class, when they have frustration, they don't learn well. But happy and relaxed students learn more effectively. So how can we lower the affective filter? How can we make them happy and relaxed in class? I think there are maybe 5 main ways. One is by making the content that we present to them engaging and relevant to them. So engaging here means for younger students, it should be fun and kind of full of fantasy and games. And for older students, it should be something that that's relevant to their lives, that they're interested in. For also another way to lower the affective filter is in terms of novelty and variety. So what does that mean? That means introducing new things to our students. So we don't want to always be doing the same kinds of activities for learning vocabulary or for learning structures. We want to have some variety and introduce some novelty into our teaching. It doesn't have to be a lot. Even a little, one new activity per class or every other class can be enough to kind of keep them engaged. Also, we need a suitable amount of challenge. One thing that's difficult for a lot of teachers is we have mixed level classes, right? We have some students who are struggling and some students who find the material very easy and they're bored. So we have to find a way to balance that. And one way that I found works is, we aim for the middle and then we can add scaffolding. Scaffolding here means maybe some words on the board, some sentence starters. We offer them scaffolding so that the weaker students can refer to that. They can be assisted by that. But then we also need to add some more challenging elements, like for example, some extra questions or some more detailed questions to challenge the stronger students. We also need to offer a kind of low pressure environment, especially for the older students, upper grades. That's very important. And as I mentioned before, using the breakout rooms for some more communicative activities, not having them do it in front of the whole class, but have them do it in front of the breakout rooms. And then you can go around to the different breakout rooms and pop your head in and just listen to what's happening. Sort of like what we do in the regular communicative language classroom with group work or small group work. And the last point is gamification. So whenever you can take an activity and turn it into a game somehow, students, especially in the lower grades, respond very well to this. So for example, you could have a flashcard game where you make 2 teams and you create a point system. Some lower level students respond very well to this, little bit of competition. So as I mentioned before, the way we designed the book was to have one unit be about 5 classes. So one unit is 6 pages, but you can divide that into 5 classes. You could also, if your students are strong, you could teach it in 3 classes with 2 pages per class. The first 2 classes develop listening, and they introduce that first structure and the first set of vocabulary. The second set of classes, class 3 and 4, introduce the second set of vocabulary and the second structure, and they focus on speaking and writing. And then class 5 is all about contextualizing what they've learned in a reading. So whenever we start a unit, what we want to do is lead into the topic. Leading into the topic is not only for the students, but also for the teacher. One thing is to get the students to kind of share their knowledge. So maybe some students know some vocabulary, other students know other vocabulary. And by answering the questions and having a little kind of lead-in session, you can get them to kind of pool their knowledge about this topic. Also, we are activating schema. So activating schema here means preparing them by reminding them what they already know about the topic so that they're ready. They're ready to learn something new. And also for the teacher, on the teacher's side, we might want to assess their knowledge, their prior knowledge. So what does that mean? That means, you know, by having a little conversation with them at the beginning of the unit, we can see what they already know, and maybe we can skip some material, or we can focus our teaching on other aspects. So for example, you know, at the beginning of the unit, there's usually some vocabulary pictures that you could talk about, or you could prepare other pictures that are related to the same theme. So for example, I have some 9 pictures here. So you could talk about, get them to describe the pictures, or you could ask them general questions like, what do you see in picture 2? What's the girl doing? Or you could get them to guess the topic. So by looking at the pictures that I've chosen, what do you think we're going to be talking about? Maybe I could have one or two volunteers to participate. Miss Ocha?
Silakan Bapak Ibu. Iya, ada yang ingin berpartisipasi dengan Mr. John? Interactive activities with Mr. John. Oh, we have Miss Daisy again. Okay, no problem. And also Miss Santa Irena.
Okay.
Okay.
Hi, Miss Daisy.
Hello, Miss Daisy and Miss Santa.
How do you want to do?
Okay. Can you tell me, do you see the 9 pictures, and what are some of the children doing in the pictures? Can you give me a few words?
Yeah, I can see on the first pictures they're having this sport, like maybe soccer or something. And then, yeah.
So they're playing soccer?
Yeah, I suppose they're playing soccer. And the second picture, I see a girl. She's playing the piano.
Mm-hmm.
And on the third one, maybe it's sort of like a boy drawing on a picture, something like that.
Yeah, he's painting. He's painting.
Yeah.
Okay. So, it sounds like you know a lot of vocabulary.
Thank you. I'll take that as a compliment.
How about the other participant? Can I ask you a question?
We have Miss Santa, Mr. Faisal, and also the other participant who would like to join us. You can unmute yourself too, yeah, Mr. John.
Okay.
Okay, I wanted to ask the next participant. What do you think? What do you think we will be talking about in this unit? If you look at these 9 pictures, what do you think we will be talking about in this unit?
Okay, maybe we can invite Miss Santa. Silakan, Miss.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Santa. So actually, yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, actually, I'm a new teacher in elementary school, but may I ask about the previous materials?
Oh, you have a question?
Yeah, I have a question about the previous material.
Maybe.
There's a lot of background noise. I can't quite hear you.
I'm so sorry because there's a lot of teachers in here. But may I ask about the previous material?
Go ahead.
Yeah. as Mr. John has explained for us that there are two characteristics of the young learner, that is the lower grades and the upper grades. So Mr. John, please can you give us an idea or an advice about how to make the lower grades to reach the upper grades? Because as technically I am a new teacher in here, so I have less experience. Thank you.
I didn't quite understand the question.
So actually, Mr. John has explained for us that there are two characteristics of young learner, that is the lower grades and the upper grades. So my question is, how to make the lower grades reach the upper grades? Can you give us an idea or an advice?
So
Thank you.
my point there was that the can you just mute your audio? Okay, my point when I was talking about the lower grades and the upper grades was just that according to their age and kind of their psychological state or their psychological characteristics, different levels of students have different kinds of interests in class. That was my main point. So, you know, when we're talking about the lower grades, what I mean is the very young students like grades 1, 2, 3. And those students are the ones that are more interested in having fun and playing in class and fantasy and make-believe and those kinds of things and games. But the upper level students, grade 4, 5, and 6, the older students, they don't want to do that. They're more shy and they're more interested in real life. They're more interested in the real things around them. That was my main point. So in terms of like, your question was how to move the students, how to help them move from lower grades to upper grades. I think it's something that happens naturally. It's just a matter of their growing up and maturing, and their orientation to school changes. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, she's still muted.
Okay.
Okay, maybe we can go to the next interactive activities, Mr. John?
Sure.
Yeah, we can invite Mr. Faisal. So would you please repeat your question, Mr. John?
So my question was, if you look at the 9 pictures, there's 9 pictures of some kids doing different things. What do you think we will talk about in this unit?
Okay. Hello, Mr. Faisal? Yeah.
Hello, Miss. Hello, Mr. John.
Hi.
Okay, I think today we are gonna talk about activities.
Activities.
Yes.
What kind of activities?
What kind of activities? I think we are gonna talk about activities in free time. Maybe we can do that in our free time or.
Perfect.
Yes.
Perfect. Yeah. Free time activities or hobbies.
Yes, our hobbies, I mean, and also our favorite thing to do in our free time or free day.
Perfect. So this is a kind of very simple lead-in activity, just showing pictures, talking about the pictures, eliciting vocabulary that they already know, and getting them to guess about the topic. So the first thing in every unit is the vocabulary exposure. So in Big Show, this happens twice, right? This happens at the beginning of page 1 and the beginning of page 3. So it's good to have a kind of routine to go through, like a set of activities that you go through every time you teach vocabulary. I know I said that you should avoid having the same kind of activities all the time, but it's important to have some regularity. The thing that you can kind of vary is sometimes you can introduce other kinds of activities as well to test vocabulary. I'm going to show you some examples of that in a minute. But the usual routine would be first listen with picture support and text support. So just get them to listen to the vocabulary. then get them to listen and repeat. So play the audio and say, okay, play tennis. And then have all the students say, play tennis. And then get them to read the vocabulary on their own. And then have some kind of activity that engages them. So it could be about guessing the activity. You could use that with the flashcards. So you can show them the picture and get them to guess what the word is. Or you could have another kind of activity like picture reveal. So actually I have another interaction that I'd like to do with some participants. So when I do this activity, I usually do it with teams, but I think it'll be a little difficult to do it with teams today. But why don't we have maybe, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna slowly reveal a picture. When you know what the picture is, why don't you put up your hand and Miss Ocha can tell me if you put up your hand. Are you ready?
Yeah, maybe the participants can also write on the chat box, yeah, Mr. John?
Sure. They can enter their guess in the chat box as well.
And maybe I can invite around 3 to 4 participants so they can automatically respond to the pictures, yeah, Mr. John?
Sure, sounds good.
Okay, I would like to invite Mr. Afrizal. Please unmute yourself, please, Mr. Afrizal, and also Miss Angelina. Hello, Miss Angelina, and also Miss Irma Nadia. Hello, Miss Irma Nadia. Please unmute yourself. And one more, we have Miss Dini Enda. Hello, Miss Dini Enda. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll slowly reveal the picture. I'll reveal just one box at a time. As soon as you know the answer, just say stop. Okay?
Okay. Okay, wait.
Stop it.
Stop.
It's a piano.
Okay. So we're talking about hobbies. So what is the hobby?
Playing the piano, playing music.
Playing the piano.
Playing the piano.
Very good. Playing the piano. You're correct. 1 point.
Yay! Congratulations.
By the way, making these kinds of slides is a little bit tricky.
Yes.
So if you want, you can get my slide presentation from Mentari, and you can just use this as a template for making your own activities for your class. So here's the second picture. Just say stop when you think you know what it is.
Is there anybody who knows the answer?
Stop.
Okay.
Is that playing tennis?
Very good. Playing tennis. Excellent.
Yes.
Playing tennis.
That's right, Miss Angelina.
1 point. Okay, last one.
What is it?
Stop. Is it painting?
Painting. Good. Very good.
Yes.
Painting. Excellent.
Yay! Our
You guys,
student is very smart.
One more time.
I only have 3 questions, unfortunately. I'm sorry. Anyway, you guys did very well. So this is just an easy way that you can have a little game with the students, and it's getting them to use the vocabulary, but it's also making it into a fun kind of competitive game. So this is a very simple activity, but I think it's an effective way to teach vocabulary. When you're teaching structures, grammatical structures, or functional expressions, you should go through a routine as well. You should have the same kind of routine. And that should involve modeling first. So modeling means just getting them to listen and repeat. So you could say it yourself, or you could get a strong student to say it, or you could get just use the audio as well. So get them to listen and repeat first. And then we're moving to two different types of activities. One is restricted use, and the other one is authentic use. So restricted use just means when we have an activity where the language is very controlled and very predictable. So it could be things like substitution drills or call and response type activities. So actually that is built into the book. So you could do, get students to practice asking and answering the questions and substituting in different words for the blue text. Then you want to move, in a communicative classroom, it's important to move from that restricted use to more authentic use. So authentic use means students are using the language that they've learned to express something about their own experience or their own life. So that means personalizing it. And usually they're doing that with their books closed. So they don't have that kind of support, the grammar support. If your students are struggling and they need some scaffolding, you could write it on the board. You could write the structure on the board, but only if they're struggling. I think it's important to try to encourage them to do these kinds of activities without support. So here's a little restricted use activity that you could do with your students. It's when we're presenting the language and we get them to repeat it, and then we get them to repeat it over again, but we're taking the words away gradually. So maybe can I get 2 volunteers?
Yeah, who wants to be the volunteer? Okay, we have Miss Monica. Hello, Miss Monica.
Hi, Miss Monica. And who is the second volunteer?
The second volunteer, we have Miss Rati. Hello, Miss Rati.
Hello.
Hello, Miss Rati. Please unmute yourself first. Oh,
yes.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. Please also turn on the video, Miss. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Maybe maybe Miss Rati can be the boy in the red shirt. And
yes.
I'm sorry, who was the other person?
Monica.
Miss Monica. Can you be the boy in the green shirt?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay. Now?
Yes.
Okay. What is your hobby?
I like to go camping.
Okay, can you repeat?
What is your hobby?
I like to go camping.
Okay, like that?
And one more time?
What is your hobby?
I like to go camping.
And last time.
Wow.
What is your hobby?
I like to go camping.
Very good. So this is a way that we can get the students to kind of practice the dialogue, but not rely on reading, right? They're not reading. They're kind of internalizing the language, and they're going to use the language from their memory by reading.
It's one word by word, yeah. Word by word.
Right. You can take away kind of parts of it gradually. Can I have another set of volunteers?
Okay, we have Mr. Antonius. Hello, Mr. Antonius. And also
yes,
Miss Elma Malini.
I'm not even going to try to pronounce that name.
Okay. Can I try?
Mr. Antonius.
Mr. Antonius, can you be the boy in the red shirt?
Okay.
And the second one is Miss Alma.
Miss Alma, can you be the boy in the green shirt?
Yeah. We will start now.
Yes, please.
What is your hobby?
Hello, Miss Alma.
Miss Irma, I guess you need to unmute.
Hello?
Hi.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
repeat once again. What is your hobby?
Finish?
Go ahead.
I like to play tennis.
Good. Okay, repeat.
What is your hobby?
Hello?
Yeah, Miss Alma.
I like to play tennis.
Okay, I'm gonna challenge you now.
Okay. What is your hobby?
I like to play tennis.
Yay!
So again, this is an activity that you could do as a competitive game. Also, you could have two teams make two teams, and then have them present the dialogue, and then if they get it right with no text support, textual support, then they get a point. Here's another activity that focuses on structure. So in this case, if the students have learned the structure and they're very familiar with it, you can make some sentences with mistakes in them. So maybe some volunteers maybe some of you know what's wrong with this first sentence. Do you see what's wrong with it?
Silakan bisa ditulis di chat box. Oh,
Mr.
and also
Delby.
there are Miss Delphi. Hello, Miss Delphi.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hi, what's wrong with the first sentence?
The first sentence is, what is your hobby? It should be, what is your hobby? No need to put is after the hobby too.
Very, very good. We can say, what is your hobby?
Yes.
Okay. How about somebody else? What's the second sentence? What's the problem?
Okay, Miss Grediana. Hello, Miss Grediana. Hello, Miss Grady. Okay, maybe we can move to the other participants.
Me.
Oh, okay, okay. Hello, Miss.
Hi.
Okay, number 2. I have to correct number. I make correction to number 2.
Yes, there's some problem.
Okay. Okay, number 2. I like go see movies.
Almost.
Almost. I like to go see movies.
Very good. I like to go see movies. Good.
Yeah, delete too.
How about number 3?
Number 3. What's your hobby? What's your hobby?
What is your hobby? We don't need to say the, right?
Yeah.
Okay, can I have a different participant answer for number 4?
I would like to invite Miss Habibatus. Hello, Miss Habibatus.
Hello. Number 4, I will correct the sentence. I like to go camping.
I like to go camping. We don't have to say go to camping, right? Very good. And how about the last one?
I like to listen music.
Almost.
I like to listen to music. Sorry.
Good. I like to listen to music. We have 1, 2, too many. Good. Very good. So these two activities, so the first one that I showed you with the 2 boys, the dialogue that kind of disappears, that can be used when students are learning the structure. They're still learning the structure and you want to get them to kind of internalize the structure and remember it. And then the second activity could be used when they've already learned it and you just want to kind of consolidate their learning. You want to make sure that they understand it very clearly. They can't do error correction if they're still learning the structure. So moving on through the unit, we should also have a listening routine that we go through. So in this case, the book kind of goes through some different activities where we have listen and write activity, which is activity A. And then we have, you can get the students to just listen to the whole dialogue with their books closed or without showing them the digital book. And then there's an activity where they listen and write the numbers. So that's kind of contextualizing the structures that they've learned. And then the final activity for listening could be acting out the dialogue. For speaking, again, this kind of routine that we go through, we should model. Modeling here means, you know, getting a strong student or demonstrating yourself, the structure that you're expecting, then getting them to do restricted use activities like drill practice, and there should be some focus on the form. So when you're doing restricted use practice, you should do a lot of error correction. So this is where you should correct errors. But when you move to authentic use, you don't want to do error correction so much. You only want to do error correction when it's interfering with the communication. When you do restricted use activities, you should let them do some drill practice, like prepare for the presentation. Prepare here means learning the structure. So, you know, you can help them with that and then get them to practice, usually practicing in pairs. So this is where you could put them into the breakout rooms and get them to practice going through several repetitions of the dialogue, and then get them to perform. So call on some pairs of students that have done some practicing together to present the structure. But as I mentioned before, we don't want to leave our class with just restricted use activities because we want to move to more communication. So that's why it's important to do authentic use activities where we're focusing on real communication and we're focusing on expressing meaning and personalizing the content so they're talking about themselves. So for authentic use activities, one way is to get them to talk about their own hobbies. So maybe I can have some volunteers again. So let me give a very quick presentation, and part of the presentation could be students can ask questions. You can have the rest of the class ask questions. So let's have a volunteer or volunteers ask one question each about my presentation. So here's my presentation. I like to play the guitar. I like to draw. I like to play video games, and I like to read. Does any volunteer have any questions for me?
Okay, Mr. Ihad Solihat. Hello, sir. Did you please unmute yourself? Okay, thank you.
No, Mr.
Oh, I'm
Hi.
sorry. It's Miss. I'm sorry, Miss.
Hi.
Can you repeat the question?
My question was, do you have any questions for me? So if you were teaching about hobbies, maybe part of the speaking activity could be giving your students some presentations to give, right? Talking about their own hobbies. But maybe the other students could ask questions to the presenter. So for example, my hobbies are, I like to play the guitar, I like to draw, I like to play video games, and I like to read. Do you have a question for me about my hobbies?
What is your hobby, Mr. Jon?
Oh, my hobbies are these 4 things: playing guitar, drawing, playing video games, and reading.
It's nice hobby.
Do you have any follow-up question?
Oh, sure.
Or how about another participant?
Yeah. Hello, Miss Ellie Nia, maybe. Hello, Miss Ellie.
Okay, my question. What song you like to play on the guitar?
I like to play all kinds of music, especially folk music or rock.
Who's your favorite? Who's your favorite?
Bit of classic. Oh, my favorite
musician
on
guitar.
So many. I like the Rolling Stones and the Beatles. Wow. Older stuff. I'm not so young, you know.
Yes, I know Rolling Stones. Okay.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, so getting students to give a presentation about their own interests and getting the class to ask questions about that. That's a nice way to kind of personalize and make the activity authentic for the students. When you do readings in the unit also, you should go through a kind of routine. The first stage should be a prediction activity. Prediction here just means looking at the whole page and making some guesses about what the content is. So that could be maybe reading the title, looking at the pictures, and then guessing what the reading will be about. Then the second stage could be, just listening. So close books and then listen to the audio. And then follow along can be the third stage. So play the audio and get the students to follow along word by word, following with their fingers. And then you can do popcorn reading or choral reading. Popcorn reading just means when you call on a student and you get them to read one or two sentences, and then you call on another student to follow with another one or two sentences. And choral reading means everybody is reading the content together. You can do that, it's a little bit more manageable if you get them to repeat after you. Then the fifth stage should be kind of comprehension check. That's where you can do the comprehension questions. And then you can follow that up with extension activities or personalization activities. So in this case, activity C is a personalization question. So do you like, in this case, this reading is all about kinds of hobbies. And then the follow-up question is, do you like to play outside on a rainy day? I just wanted to talk a little bit about remote teaching. I guess everybody is teaching like this these days, right? Everybody's sitting at their computer or a device. They're not interacting in the classroom anymore. So this is kind of the new normal that we're dealing with. I wanted to share with you one piece of information that this is from the Ministry of Education in Korea. When they launched the remote teaching in Korea, they shared this kind of framework with teachers. So they divided the kind of classes into three types. One is content-oriented classes. That's where students are either watching some recorded material or on their own or with the class. There's another type of class, which is the real-time interactive class, where they have, real-time communication with the teacher, between teacher and students. And then the follow-up to that is task-oriented class, where the teacher gives them some kind of assignment. It could be workbook assignment or some reading and questions, this kind of thing. So thinking about your online teaching in terms of these three components and having them kind of flow together is very useful, I think. A lot of teachers are trying to do only online real-time interactive classes, and I think it's not effective. It's not the best way because it takes a lot of your time. And also students can be studying independently. They can be doing these other kinds of classes. And that's also an effective way to do teaching. So that's kind of the framework that I think is very simple, but it's very, very effective. So I hope that gives you a little kind of clue about how you can do online teaching more effectively in your class. Basically, you can schedule those types of classes. You can give them homework that's content oriented, and you can give them schedule real-time interactive classes, and then you can also have task-oriented classes as well. That's the end of my presentation. I've been speaking for a long time. Maybe I can take some questions.
Okay, so thank you very much, Mr. Jon. And before we come to the Q&A session, I would like to share some important things. Bapak Ibu Guru yang kami hormati, sebelum masuk ke sesi tanya jawab, saya akan sedikit merangkum ya pemaparan dari Mr. Jon Edwards. Bapak dan Ibu pendidik, kami berharap semoga sesi hari ini dapat memberikan inspirasi dan tentunya semangat baru ya bagi Bapak Ibu guru dan bisa menjadi jawaban untuk pengajaran bahasa Inggris yang impactful pada sekolah ataupun lembaga kursus khususnya di pandemi ini. Dan program unggulan dari Mentari Group yaitu Big Show ini merupakan program fully digital yang terdiri dari textbook dan online LMS atau Learning Management System yang mengacu pada Common European Framework of Reference, serta dilengkapi juga dengan beragam kegiatan latihan edukatif seperti yang sudah dipaparkan ya oleh Mr. Jon Edwards tadi, dan sehingga kemampuan bahasa Inggris anak didik Anda menjadi tetap terasah dan tentunya pegangan textbook Bapak Ibu juga tetap penting menjadi materi pendukung bagi guru dan siswa dalam program pembelajaran jarak jauh untuk sekolah maupun di lembaga kursus. Dan dilengkapi dengan fitur yang lengkap Bapak Ibu guru dapat dengan mudah memberikan tugas maupun latihan tambahan dan pastinya akan sangat terbantu untuk memonitor progres dan perkembangan setiap siswa dalam proses PJJ ini. Dan Bapak Ibu, jika masih ada yang kurang jelas, silakan menghubungi education consultant kami yang melayani sekolah Anda atau dapat menghubungi nomor WhatsApp kami di 0856 9785 6420 atau sudah tertera juga ya di layar Bapak Ibu sekalian. Silakan bisa dicatat terlebih dahulu. Dan sekarang kita masuk ke sesi tanya jawab. Bapak Ibu apabila masih ingin bertanya silakan bisa menggunakan fitur raise hand. Silakan. For the participants who would like to ask, you can use the raise hand feature. Okay, Mr. Jon, we have Miss Daisy. Hello, Miss Daisy.
Hi, Miss Daisy.
Hi again, sorry.
Your voice sounds very strange. I'm sorry, the audio is a little bit distorted.
Probably just like maybe the signals, I don't know, somehow.
This is good. This is good. Okay, I can hear you.
So maybe I could propose something which maybe very common or something, but it's just like some of the young learners, they are very up. So with these old things, I think I found it very easy to use, but then some of them are very, very, very shy and they tend not to speak up. So how am I supposed to encourage them to speak up? Like,
you mean the lower level students that are struggling with the language, or the younger students?
Yeah, those who's struggling with the language, and some are very surprisingly the senior high and the junior high. Some of them are very hard to encourage. Yeah.
Sure. I think the problem there is probably twofold. There's two kinds of problems. One is with the language, like they're struggling with the language. If that's the main problem, you can ask them questions that, so for students that are at a lower level and struggling, you can ask them questions that that are yes/no questions, or that present them with an option, two options. So for example, you could ask, is this playing the piano or is this painting?
Well,
or you could say, is this, I just mean like the way that you frame the question, either to accept yes, no as an answer, or to present two options, that makes it much easier for them in terms of the kind of language that they have to produce, right? So that for lower level students, maybe that's a kind of approach you can take.
How about those on the higher level, like the junior or senior high, 11th grader? I have this one student who's, I don't know why, he just like, I tried very hard, believe me, I tried very hard to make him speak up, but then it's just like
I have a daughter like that also.
Okay.
My advice for you is just be patient with those kinds of students. I think part of the problem there could be related to the language level, like they don't understand the questions, but also part of it can just be about that kind of social anxiety that I was talking about before. Like the students may be just very shy in front of their classmates. So just be patient, you know, ask some questions that are like what I call softball questions, you know, like give them a very easy question to answer, and then they'll warm up eventually, but it just takes time.
Okay.
Okay.
Maybe?
It takes a lot of time. Thank you.
Yeah.
You're
Okay.
welcome.
Thank you, Miss Daisy. And next we have Miss Ihat. Hello, Miss Ihat. You can unmute yourself and please straight to the question. Yeah, Miss Ihat.
Hi, Miss Ihat.
Okay. Thank you for Miss Siti Aisyah.
Yeah.
For choosing me. Okay. My troubles in teaching English is how to give my students the best in motivation. So make them is very easy to learn English and make them enjoy in learning English.
Okay.
Maybe you can give me the best motivation for my students. Thank you.
I think there's two ways. So one way is if the students are a little bit older and they have sort of more understanding of the world, you can get them to think about their reasons for learning, right? Like their reasons for learning, if they have a very clear reason for learning, like I want to get a job and I need to learn English for my job. If they have this very clear reason for learning, then that's kind of what we call intrinsic motivation. That creates motivation for them. So that's one way to make a very kind of clear reason. You know, have a talk with them very early in the semester and say like, why are you studying English? Why do you need English? And then have them kind of understand that very clearly. So that's one reason, one way. Another way is try to get them to explore different kinds of content in English. For example, maybe they really like music, or maybe they really like sports. Let them have time in your class or outside of class to explore their interests using English. If they find the right material, like the right websites or the right books or the right videos, things that are interesting to them, then they will be naturally attracted to English. So they have to find something that's interesting to them, but in order to get it, they need English, you know? So I think those two ways to motivate them. One, make their aim very clear, and the other one, present them with opportunities to explore their interests in English.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much, Mr. John. Well, since it's almost time, I think I have to end the Q&A session. And I would like to say thank you very much for Mr. Jon Edwards for the inspiring session. And hopefully by this session, the participants are enlightened and have our mind refreshed. So thank you very much, Mr. Jon Edwards.
You're very welcome.
Okay. But don't worry for the other participants. If you still have any question, you can also deliver your question or idea to the written email and WhatsApp number on the screen. Silakan Bapak Ibu, jika masih ada pertanyaan dan belum bisa dijawab Mr. John di Zoom meeting ini, silakan bisa memberikan pertanyaannya via email ataupun WhatsApp ya Bapak Ibu.